Hello humans, this is Random Guy and welcome to the Random Channel. Today we're going to continue playing Wizard's Choice Medieval Fantasy. And today we're going to be doing the fifth chapter. We're back on our track, so I'm gonna play it on my own. And later, I'm gonna, do it with a guide and get the perfect score. The problem is the guides are running out. I think that there are a lot of chapters in the Wizard's choice, but the fucking problem is that the fucking walkthroughs. I haven't really found a lot of walkthroughs. I think the maximum walkthrough I've ever seen is to like chapter 6. Other than that, there's no walkthrough, so I'm gonna have to try it on my own. That's gonna be a pain in the ass, honestly. That's going to be real rough on me as to how to get the perfect ending, or not the perfect ending, at least a ending. If I can get even the worst ending, as long as I can get an ending, that would be good enough. You're a spell-casting vampire in the name of the Book of Names. In search of the Book of Names, a legendary artifact that is said to be in the treasure hoard of the ancient dragon Svelek. With this book, you hope to discover the true name of the demon that possesses you and cast him out before he consumes your soul. In addition to facing the dragon, you also have elves and men hunting you. They hate vampires, imagine that. Together with the lovely Narissa, also a vampire, you must balance the practical needs of survival. Example, feeding on mortals, killing good pursuits, etc. With what's left of your humanity for any hope of victory. Note to reader, the demon is becoming increasingly powerful, so you are now losing 2 morale points a day. A morale score of 0 or less means your soul has been consumed by your demon, a fate worse than death. Good luck. I think if we get our soul gets consumed, we'll be taken to that goddess in Abyss where she'll like fuck us up. Okay. So we are starting right now. I got 35 life, 21 mana, 10 morale. Which basically means we're gonna run out of morale first. I have 5 days before morale runs out. You and your vampire companion Narissa stand under the shadow of the Dragon Teeth Mountains. The full moon and the stars provide more than enough light for your keen eyes to survey the terrain. The night is not so long, says Narissa. We best make some time before the daylight forces us into hiding. As I recall, there are many caves in these mountains, but we must get up there first. Yes, I would expect caves within all those exposed rocks. Gods, it is steep, you say. There is a narrow trail there, says Narissa, pointing. We can use that. However, I fear that the elves may spot us from the eagles if we approach by such an obvious route. We could disguise ourselves with illusion if anything approached us, you say. Elves are well versed in magic. I would rather not rely on your tricks, says Narissa. How else then fly? That would be more obvious still, you say, irritably, okay. You don't like how Narissa calls your illusions tricks. True, although at least then we truly would make excellent speed. Perhaps we could then land towards the top where there are more trees where we were seen. Before we are seen. Do not allow yourself to be carried aloft like a cripple, hisses Thanatos in your mind. Well, demon, if we had brought along a pair of wings from the abyss when you invaded my body, we could fly up there ourselves. You say back silently. To climb the cliff. Do you see the shaft of rocks yonder? There is an overhanging towards the top and the wall on the sides. We would be nearly hidden as we ascend, says Thanatos. You tend to disregard Thanatos' suggestion due to your mistrust on the demon. Still, it may be worth considering. I'm not taking the road. Flying up the mountain does sound good, but I think I'm gonna climb. Mana increases 1 and morale increases 1. That's good. He explained to Narissa Thanatos' idea about climbing up the near fully enclosed shaft of rock. I have wings. What happens to you if you fall? Narissa says, wizardry. You answer with a grin. With that, you make... okay, so I fell down, so I used the feather falling spell. With that, you make your way up the rock wall. Start climbing. You're much stronger and agile as a vampire than you were as a human wizard. So your climb goes quickly. It is not long before you and Narissa engage in some friendly competition, leaping and scrambling as you race to the top. Although Narissa agrees not use her wings, she occasionally uses them for a flap or two. He supposes such dubious sportsmanship is the best you can expect from a demon-possessed vampire. At one point, you make a slightly leap and grab a hold of a rotten rock outcropping that crumbles under your weight. You fall. You cast your feather fall spell, but just as you begin to float like a feather, Narissa snatches you up in her air and swoops up away from the cliffs. She then sets you on a slab of rock. Just before she disengages her embrace, you kiss her on the cheek. What? Just because she disengages her embrace, you kiss her on the cheek. Why did I kiss her on the cheek? She jerks back as though startled, then flashes a smile. Thenta snarls and squirms in your mind. It takes all your concentration to keep him from taking over your body. With a trembling hand, Narissa pushes you away gently. Her face is contorted with a grimace telling you she is battling her own demon. You decide you had better not press your luck, rather, you move on to the subject at hand. The trail is near. Perhaps we should use it and save our strength, you say. Narza nods shakingly and motions for you to lead the way. The narrow switchback trail cut into the side of the mountain is only a few meters away, so you're able to climb to it quickly. And fucking ads. The switchback trail you're on is obviously not the main cavern route, though the Dragon Teeth Mountain, since it is barely wide enough for a mule to traverse, you better disguise yourself. You both put up the cowls of your cloaks. Narissa folds her wings into an enormous backpack with the holes cut into the bag. You decide to hunch over as though you're an old man, and convince Narissa to do likewise. The eagle riders will be looking for strong, agile vampires, you say as you probably stumble along. Narissa shakes her head but follows your example. She even begins to groan of aches and pain. After a few hours of this, Narissa points into the air. There, an eagle rider. Sure enough, far off in the night sky, you see what might be a massive bird. Someone rides upon its back. Are you sure from this distance? You think that to be a great ward upon what? You think that to be a great wart upon the bird. Narissa interrupts you. You wonder if Narissa's vampire vision is even better than yours. Maybe all that time staring at spell books has made you weak-eyed by vampire standards. Do not look up and show your face. Elves have keen eyes. Santos astonishes you. Admonishes you, okay. I don't know what that means, by the way. Admonishes. Well, I'm guessing it just means like scolding or like, what the fuck are you doing type shit. Well, I would rather it not simply land upon me without warning. Certainly he's too far away. Okay. Do not underestimate them. Thantos cuts you off. Oh, they are very proud of their fine vision. How they can see like day without even a moon, night or day. They love nothing more than to observe all the inferior beings around them. Oh, we are magical and intelligent. Oh, we make beautiful music and drink fine wine. As Thantos continues to rant about elves, you steal a glance up. Surely enough, the elf rider is descending. Wipe the smug off his face with a lightning bolt. Thantos exclaims. Although night vision is excellent, you could not make out the expression of the swiftly moving elf as you expect the smug smile. So you expect the smug smile. Thantos speaks of is a product of this imagination. What? Thantos speaks of is a product of his imagination. No wonder it might be wise to hit while you have a surprise. For a creature this large and fast, one lightning bolt might do the trick. Another option is to take cover. There are trees and some surrounding shrubbery clinging desperately to the side of the rock wall a few meters ahead. From in there, you could observe the elf without him being able to clearly see your face. And really, what other type of behavior could the elf expect from those he swooped down upon aboard a giant eagle? Finally, you can just continue on as you are, bent low and stumbling. Perhaps the elf just wants a closer look and will be on his way. Man, that's difficult to do. I want to take cover as a normal person would. Like, honestly, if a gigantic ass eagle shows up, elf or no elf, I would certainly like to take cover as to what the fucking eagle bullshit is going on. Let's hide in the foliage yonder. Remember to move as an old woman. You whispered to Narissa. Hunchbacked and limp, you skitter to take cover. Once behind the leaves and branches, you watch the eagle rider descend and finally land on an outcropping of meters above the trail about 50 meters ahead. The eagle lets out a powerful screech. Come out, man, I know where you are. Come out indeed, seethes Santos. Come out and pull him off that bird and throw him off the ledge. Maybe he will sing a merry ballad of love on his what? A merry ballad of love on his way down. Okay, that's something. Um, what was I reading again? Okay, and then we shall strangle the bird and rip the feathers. Silence, I must think. You cut Thantos off. You weigh your options. You could come out as the elf demands, but use an illusion to disguise the two of you as older travelers, and certainly not vampires. On the other hand, he does not appear to have his guard up yet, and he is well within the range of a lightning bolt. Or you could forgo the illusion and save your mana by coming out with your head down. If you and Narisa could get a little closer, you could perhaps get the jump on him and the bird. Fucking hell, that's difficult as fuck. I know decision. Like, this is why I hate it. What decision do I make? If I disguise us, they're elves. They're gonna see it. Lightning bolt, I don't know how strong the elf is, honestly. Get close and then pounce, they would clearly see my skin. Even with the head covered and everything, they would see the jittery movement and whatever. Lightning bolt is ass, alright? You know what? I know you are afraid, but you need not fear you cut off the elf sentence with your lightning bolt, which strikes the eagle full in the chest, knocking it over on top of its rider. The thunder echoing off the cliff walls, so close, is deafening. The elf manages to shoot Narissa in the shoulder with his bow before she kills him. Drat stupid wench, that would have made a sweet meal, says Thanatos in your mind. Life decreases 10? There's a blood-curdling screech from above. Down swoops in another eagle with rider from a jagged peak a few hundred meters above. Of course, these elvish cowards do not patrol alone, says Thanatos, and he commences cursing in Infernal, the profane language of the abyss. You are preparing to meet the rider with a firebolt when you are stabbed in the shoulder by an arrow. You double over in pain as your wound burns. Blessed arrows, Thanatos screams in your mind. The rider continues to fire arrows as he dives down at you, except now he's aiming at Narissa, who is flapping into the air to meet him. One arrow pierces through the membrane of her wing and another pierces into her leg. She screams in pain but keeps going. The eagle and the rider meet in a bone-crushing collision and plummet down, twisting, ripping into each other. With a trembling hand, you rip the arrow out of his shoulder, stand up, look over the ledge. Narissa is flapping back up towards you. There is a splatter of feather and gore on the rock below. When she alights on the train next to you, is it train? She alights on the train next to you. It shouldn't be like terrain next to you. She's barren and bloody. You pull the arrow out of her leg while the demon in her screams an obscenity in infernal language. She takes a swing at you, but you are ready for it and duck the blow. You back off with a steaming arrow in one hand and a grin. Narissa recovers control of her body and then shakes her head at the bloody mess below. Let us hurry from here. With all the commotion these eagles made, the riders may be on their way. My wing is damaged, so I do not think I can carry you effectively until it heals. I doubt that was a good decision, considering, in the future I have to deal with a dragon. So, like, he probably would. I think, like, even if I had full health 35, I probably would not make it with the dragon and everything. The two of you continue along the switchback trail until the terrain starts to level off. The landscape opens up. You're now at the bottom of a valley within the mountain range. Massive rock walls are to your left and right. Your small trail joins a much wider road with deep wagon wheel grooves. The main road, you say. Yes, I remember this road. It is the route used by the Highlanders and foreign merchants to cross the mountain range. I've heard the dragons collect a toll to use this road. Indeed, the dragons enjoy privacy, but they enjoy gold even more. Why do they need gold? Shouldn't they ask for something more, like, awesome, like fucking beer or something? Beer, food or something like that? What are they gonna do with gold? Look at it. What is it, birds or something? They like shiny stuff. It is said the dragon himself occasionally visits the road in human form to collect, just to keep everyone honest, says Narissa. The road is deserted as far as you can see right now. It's not surprising given how late it is at night. There are few herds of goats scattered about the highland, a main source of food and income. Where there are goats, there are shepherds, says Santos. We shall need sustenance for the fool's journey ahead. These people leave their prized goats so out in the open with no protection. You say out loud as you regard a nearby goat herd. The troll and giants would not come near the main road. This passage under the dragon's protection, says Narissa. And the goats and the shepherds that care for them did not fear the dragon, you ask? Virgin women are all they need. All that need fear him. Those he bargains for with favors. What? Virgin women are all that need fear him, and those he bargains for with favors of magic, with favors or magic usually, says Narissa. Virgin, certainly that is a myth. You say, remember, I along with other clerics of my order spent months in these mountains hunting trolls. I know the local lore, strange as it might be. Virgins is what Sevelek prefers to eat, and what Sevelek prefers he gets. A wager that is a good news for the goats at least. What? You exclaim as you point off into the horizon above the road. Another eagle right ahead. I wonder what the dragon think of eagles scoring in about his domain. As long as they have paid the toll, Narissa chuckles grimly. Toll or not, expect there are no elves near Savlak's castle. It is said that the forest around his fortress is exclusively for those who have pledged themselves to Savlak or for those meant to be food. Well, the dragon castle is still a few nights' journey from here, and in the meantime, we must contend with these blasted elves. They must know we are traveling this way. Perhaps Dala tripped them off, or they are simply taking watch over all the major routes of the dukedom. I expect the elves want to keep the pestilence of a vampire from spreading, says Narissa. In any case, what shall we do? If we stay on the main road, we will certainly be challenged, and I am not certain if I have the mana or skill to fool everyone with my illusions. You say there is a river not far ahead. It runs runs along the road all the way to Hightown. Says Narissa. Neville's tongue. A mountain river? Is it rough, you ask? White water and a few waterfalls. Should be nothing to a vampire, says Narissa with a fang smile. You point down the boulder strewn fields towards the rock walls. What about traveling along the cliffs? It would be slow moving, but will not be so easily spotted from the air. And there may be caves for us to sleep in. Caves infested with trolls and giants. I would rather not slumber along among them. Besides, I would rather not travel across open to get to the valley wall. We would stand out. Of course, if you are frightened, you say with a smirk. I know these mountains, she said defensively. And you are afraid of a river? What do you say? Stay on the road, mana required. Okay, so it's gonna continuously drain my mana. It's not even telling me how much mana it's gonna drain. Fucking hell, that's gonna be a problem. Okay, what should we do? I guess swim the river then. Fuck it. Very well, the river it is then. You say the frothy waters will hide us from the elves. There are roads and goats herds near the river. We shall have livestock to feed upon, Narissa says, and shepherds, Thanatos says. The two of you slink down to the water edge. The her demon doesn't really talk to like us. Well, I guess her demon must talk to her in her mind instead of like outside. So the two of you slink down to the water's edge. The tributary. You're standing in front of froths with white water. However, you know that this will be nothing compared to the main river we join up to. This is a good plan. We shall be most deadly creatures roving these waters, and we can surely surprise any men we happen upon. Now strip down before your vampire companion, show her your confidence and superior predatory body. Thanatos hisses in your mind. Fuck! This is the problem, dude. Come on. Like the clothes will be. It's not that I'm not making a perverted decision here. It's just that the clothes will be like heavy and shit. Like that's gonna be a problem, and they might just get stuck. Yeah, but I'd rather not swim. Like now I'm thinking like I'd rather not swim without my clothes on. So I'm gonna swim in my clothes. Man, this is such a good decision. I wanna strip. God damn it! I don't want to start the entire chapter again. Fuck it, man. Let's strip. You strip off your clothing, and stand naked. Your medieval culture is not big on undergarment. Arisa glances at you disappointingly, does not follow her example. Instead, she dives into the clothes on and begins swimming. At least I got a morale. Why did she look at me disappointingly? Is that disappointingly because like she's disappointed in my body, or disappointingly in terms of like she didn't think that I would take my clothes off. I knew it. Because I remember in the first chapter you have to like kiss a girl and you get morale for kissing her. So I definitely remember that. So certainly, I guessed as much that I would get morale. That's why I picked this option. And so she dives in with her clothes on and begins swimming. You stuff your clothing into your backpack and then cast a minor spell that encases your spellbook in a gelatinous film. Film repels all water and will magically disappear when the spell ends, leaving a perfectly dry book. With these preparations complete, your Hold on, let me just re-switch the mic. This goddamn positioning is like really near my throat. Hopefully this doesn't affect the audio too much. I'm gonna start doing smaller episodes instead of like 1.5 hours one. I'm gonna start doing half an hour ones. They're much more convenient to upload. So there's that. So there's 10 minutes more. Okay, so you slip into the after her. Despite the beautiful vampire's seeming and ambivalence to your nudity, you still find it somehow invigorating to swim naked after her on your way to dangers yet unknown. As a mortal wizard, you simply never did such things. And besides, it's easier to swim naked even with dragging the backpack tethered behind you. Life decreases 7, really? As a vampire, you're nearly immune to the chill of the water and not easily tired. Nevertheless, going becomes rough upon being swept into the river. You are slammed against rocks and pulled underwater by whirlpools. Certainly, if you were a mortal, you would have been battered to death. However, you go along and you start to adapt to the river, and a few strokes one way to avoid a boulder, a few strokes another to miss a giant tree snag. Before you know it, you are actually having fun. When Thantos spends his time advising you on river tactics rather than his usual insults and discouragements. To the right, to the right, to the right. Do not kick like a little girl, he says. Nisa is doing even better, and you find it difficult to keep up. And once she learned how to use her wings to help propel her. Why did you not bring along wings? You bring along your evil disposition, tedious diatrib, diatribes. What the fuck is that word? Tedious diatribes. What the fuck is that? And yet bring nothing useful. You chide Thanatos inside you. After a few hours of this, you hear the roar or water up ahead and the horizon stretch. You think before you a waterfall. You think, and a big one by the looks of things. The way there may be very well be rocks at the bottom of the things, and vampire or not, you would rather not get pounded. The river is shallow enough for you to just touch the bottom, and however, the frothing current around you is far too strong for you to stand up. You are too close to the falls to swim to the side of the. Narissa is not far up ahead. The few strong strokes you could catch up to her and grab her foot before you go over the edge. She can fly after all. On the other hand, it may be simpler to launch yourself as best as you can off the fall to avoid the possible rocks at the bottom. Pounding water, if the water is very high, you have a spell of feather fall. I'm gonna handle it alone. I think I can handle it. You take a deep breath and prepare yourself for the leap. Because I think if I grab her leg, she's just gonna get what is that word? Discombobulated. She's gonna get disorganized, misorganized. What is that fucking word that I'm trying to find? Disturbed? No, 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 no. I mean, it's just that her orientation will be misplaced. Yeah, let's just say that. And she might just like flop down instead of going up. You take a deep breath, prepare yourself for a leap. Just at the edge, you drive your legs down. One foot slips off a smooth round rock while the other gains purchase, allowing you to get enough leverage to push off. Soon you're sailing through the air out and away from the wall. Only then do you realize how mammoth the waterfall is. Down, down, you plummet into a cloud of heavy mist. You blinded, you cannot tell how much further the water is. So the best you can make your best guess and cast your feather fall spell. Float down for a bit while you do your best. Position yourself to fall first feet. You don't want to brain yourself anything below. The spell ends and you begin to accelerate again. Luckily, you don't fall far before you splash down. As you surface, you immediately begin swimming away from the roaring wall of crashing water behind you. Not want to get sucked back into that. After you're well away from the falls, you see Narissa glide down of the mist on her massive batwing. She lands with a splash next to you, laughing. The two of you continue in the river, scanning the sky for eagles. You hope no one spotted you as you went over the falls. It seems unlikely. Okay. As dawn, man, my stuff is going down. It's kind of annoying. As dawn approaches, you decide it's time to look for somewhere to slumber for the day. You clamber out of the water, untie your backpack from your ankle, and put on your wet clothes. They're likely to shelter among the boulders along the river. Perhaps with a little digging, we can make ourselves a suitable den, Narissa suggests. These shepherd houses along the river will provide more reliable protection, says Thantos. You nod thoughtfully to Narissa as you converse with the demon inside you. Problem with the shepherd house that they usually contain shepherds and dogs. You mean food, you mortal fool. Mind complains of the wrong things, replies Santos. It's true that you're famished after all that swimming. As though reading your mind, Narissa says there are goats grazing nearby. No one will notice if we feed upon them. If we spread our meal between several, there will be little worse for it. Goat blood does not sound very appetizing. If you could at least kill the animal, therefore properly harvest some energy from its soul, that would give you a larger amount of power. Of course, this is still a paltry mean compared to a human, but enough to sustain you through the night. You look about. You see no dogs or men, only goats and a shepherd house at 200 meters away. Investigate a shepherd house, attempt to make a drain a few goats, bleed a few goats. Goat blood does not. I need to look at this. Goat blood does not sound very appetizing. If you could at least kill the animal, therefore properly harvest some energy from its soul, that would give you a larger measure of power. I'm gonna bleed a few goats then. It's a meager meal, but it is something. The other goats baa nervously as you feed. What do? Dig a den. Morale decreases 2, mana increases 5, life decreases 3. After a bit of searching, you find. So yeah, I'm pretty much dead at this point. I don't think it's gonna go very well. I'm gonna have to restart the chapter and play again and again by the time I get to the end. I don't think I even would get to the end. Um, After a bit of searching, you find some slabs because generally nowadays these chapters are taking at least 3 hours for me to finish. Like two and a half to 3 hours is the minimum per chapter that it's taking at this point. So there's that. I mean, the if you skip the reading and everything and just click on everything, then obviously it's gonna go faster. But that's not the way I want to play, and neither is gonna give us anything worthwhile. After a bit of searching, you find some slabs of rock situated like a round, rough natural card house, which provides a sort of natural shelter. However, you see plenty of holes, and the opening in this rough cave is wide. To provide better cover, you and Narissa dig in the soil inside. Soil is very rocky, and you do not make as much progress as you would like by the time the sunlight comes. The two of you have just enough time to crawl into your holes, cover yourself with dirt and cloaks, and before you fall unconscious. Before you leave your body for the pit, you wonder how much ambient light will get into your poor shelter during the fullness of the day. When you awaken, you feel weakened not just by the usual drain from your demon. You feel it too. I was taxed more than just spiritually last night. I suspect we need to take the time to dig a deeper shelter next time, says Narissa, who is sitting just outside. Perhaps we should count ourselves lucky that we were not completely cooked during the day, you say. Okay, another fucking ad. When you leave, the two of you are in a somber mood. Haven't the energy for any creative travel. Rather, you take the road. Follow it is simple. It is simple to follow and allow you to make good time. When eagle riders investigate, you hope your illusions will fool them. Time passes quickly. There are sparse travel at the time of night. A few islanders with their goats, herds, and one small caravan of merchants. Your keen senses alert you to these road travelers before they see you. Then you and Narissa take cover in the brush side road to wait patiently for them to pass by. You notice how the Highlanders glance upon into the sky from time to time. You wonder if this is because they fear the eagle or more likely the dragon. You can't help but think they smell delicious. As dawn approaches, you see high walls in the distance, high town. You can smell all the people from there. You have planned on digging a den in the dirt to slumber in for the coming day. However, neither of you can bear the thought now that you have the prospect of an inn. You can even use a snack, even if this only means buying or stealing an animal. As is typical, the town has a wall around it at the gatehouse. The whole point of the wall is to keep undesirables out, which obviously includes vampires. From here, you spot three guards manning the gate. You could attempt a mundane disguise. Narissa's wings are folded into her backpack, so she just looks like she has an extra heavy load. Around town, guards will be alerted to be looking for you this far out. Would town guards be alerted? Okay. Alternatively, you could use an illusion on the two of you that would certainly make a more effective disguise, but it will be costly. Finally, you could ask Narissa to fly you in, perhaps over another side of the wall. Think flying in would do it. Sure, no need to take chances with the guards or squandering mana when you have a perfect set of wings walking next to you. Narissa agrees. We shall take some time to circle about, find a quiet part of the wall for me to carry you over. More like a great leap than a flight. Why risk sneaking about the wall and possibly being spotted, you ask. You could take me higher from the dark sky and then we plummet straight down into the middle of city. These people have lived in the shadows of the dragon for generations. They habitually watch the sky, and Narissa. Yeah, flight of the wall would be preferable considering if they are looking for dragons, there's going to be a problem. The two of you cut off the road and circle around to the far wall of the town. Now closer you see the brush that has been cleared away from the wall for some distance, so you will not have much cover as you approach. From behind a boulder, you watch the wall for a few minutes. There are few guards patrolling the ramparts of the wall. They look pretty bored. If you're quiet and fast, you think you might be able to make it to the wall over it before without notice. On the other hand, you have little experience sneaking through defenses. Into through town defense. I doubt there's anyone standing on the other side of the wall. Disguises are not gonna work. I'm just gonna go for the wall. We are fast and stealthy. Once more, Narissa can fly. What more is needed to outfit a few asleep guards, you think? After spending a few more minutes to find just the right moment, you give the signal. The two of you run forward. When you are about 20 meters from the wall, Narissa lifts you into the air. You're over it in no time. You land next to a house, duck and down into the shadows. You peek around the corner. Up on the wall, you see a guard with a torch staring curiously towards where you flew over. Doubtless, he heard your wings flapping, but did not see you. It is better to be a lucky fool than a wise man, says Thanatos. Narissa puts her bag on, and the two of you continue into the town. A fine way to forego an entrance fee, you say as you squeeze Narissa's arm. You want to kiss her, but as you lunge forward, she has already turned and began walking down the valley. Why did I suddenly become such a fucking player? More like I feel like I'm the one getting too fucking desperate with this shit. There's not much talk of romance between the two of us, despite the fact we know that kinda, but like you're the only one making advances, and she's barely um, coming back with it, reciprocating it, replying to it. Okay, whatever. You jog a few steps, grab her hand, and smile at her, enough to show your fang and wink. The corner of a mound turns up. Two of you walk along briskly, hand in hand, exploring the small town. A demon does not balk at the sign of affection, judging by Narissa's calm expression. A demon does not either. Whereas the demons appreciate the need to blend into the town as a couple. As expected, there is an inn only a stone throw from the gate. This seems like the best place to rest for the coming day and perhaps get a snack. How do you wish to proceed? I would rather use my cloaks to conceal myself. Wow. Life decreases 100. Should have worked. Wow, that should have worked, but didn't. Occasionally, that's just how it goes. Am I right? Fuck off. You and Isa shovel into the inn of your hood. How long, sir? The innkeeper said, this long. You have him 3 pieces. Yes, well, that is 8 days in your warm hand, he says, motioning the large room you're standing in. The narrow beach, blah, blah, blah. This and that, rough spun leather and everything. We have a room of our own, you say, when you one. Well, we have one room, our last. It is 3 silver for a day, he says. What? Is 3 silvers for a day? Did I just give him 3 silvers? I gave him 3 silvers and he said 8 days. What? I gave him 3 silvers and he said 8 days of staying, and now my character is staying 3 silvers for a day? Very well then, as long as we are not discovered, the innkeeper says. He's looking at you carefully. One of the tenants look up with bleary eyes, and Nari says, must your woman carry so much? He asks. Narissa turns toward him. The man looks like he's about to say something else, but from the ground he can likely see her face and expression change to surprise and shut up. Here is the key. The room at the end of the hall on the left. In says. It's curious you don't It's curious that he does not walk you to the room to show the accommodation. Maybe these Highlanders innkeepers are more trusting and less hands on than innkeepers of Ring City. You find yourself blah blah. You study your spell book for a few minutes, then join us under the bed for what? You find the room and make yourself at home. You draw the curtains, add an extra layer of protection, wrapping your cloaks over the windows. With these preparation made, you study your spellbook for a few minutes and then join Narissa under the bed for daytime slumber. But the townsfolk have been warned to look for a pair like you. You have been given yourself away in the lobby. You will never know because you never wake up. Alas, you finally succumb to your wounds and collapse. So they killed me in my sleep. Okay. So let's go back, and this time I'm gonna use disguises. The elves are swift upon their eagles and certainly visited this town already. It's likely that villagers have been asked to watch for us. You whisper. Ah, yes, it'd be wise for our pursuers to warn the town guard, innkeepers, and all others who are in business of talking to strangers. Narissa whispers back. Come, we will find a private place for me to work my magic, you say. She gives you a sideways look. Let's find a private place for me to work my magic. That sounds so fucking good. She gives you a sideways look, an illusion, I mean. You say with a frank grin. You lead her to an alley, prepare your spell. What shall we be? You whisper. I rather be like the old couple routine that we do. You have some practicing at that, and adding a few wrinkles to your hands and faces is a simple illusion, you say. Yes, however, these are harsh lands. I doubt the inn sees many elderly travelers. Perhaps a pair of greedy merchants would be more the type they are accustomed to, says Manarisa. In addition to our faces, we will have to change the clothing for the disguise. More expensive in terms of power. Oh boy, I'm gonna go with the wealthy merchants this time around. We will have a room, you announce to the innkeeper. You glance down at your reflection at the plate on the table, lobby table. Your illusionary face is middle aged, weathered by the sun. How long, sir? The innkeeper asks, somewhat befuddled. This long. You hand him three silver pieces. His eyebrows slightly raised. Ah, yes. Well, that is 8 days in our warm hall. He says, motioning to the large room on the end. Blah blah blah. This and that. Numerous snores provide a tuneless background music for this room. You give him a hearty laugh. I will not sleep out here. What did you say? I said a room. Oh, sorry, my lord, but we only have one room left. It has been reserved, he says. Reserved, eh? You say slowly. Very well, we will take it. You pull out a single gold piece. The innkeeper smiles widely. Ah, yes, as I said, the room is reserved by you. Inspect the lobby hall imperviously. Stroke your illusionary silken sleeves. You think you can get used to playing the rich man. A young pretty woman who had been half asleep in the corner has since become alerted and eyes Narissa. My lady, might I take your pack? Narissa shakes her head. No one is to touch my things. If you want to make yourself useful, you will draw us a bath later. You nod approvingly. Yes, hot drawn bath. What? Yes, a hot bath drawn by you would be nice. You say, pointing at the woman. Meanwhile, the innkeeper has fetched the key and a lantern begins leading you up the stairs. He's rather chatty and walks slowly, which is dangerous since your illusion will last only so long. At last, he shows up to your room at the end of the hall, unlocks the door, and hands you the key. He then begins pointing at objects in the room and naming them, a washbowl to clean out the dust of the road, and a free of fleas and vermin. That is quite enough. Leave us now, you command. The innkeeper bows and hurries away. You both step inside. You are about to shut the door when you see. Wait, what? You both step inside. You are about to shut the door when you see a little girl standing in the hall. My lord, perhaps I could wash your dick. That would be hilarious, actually. Her voice gets quiet. Yo, this is perfect for that. She's like, I wish I could. She's like, my lord, perhaps I could wash your like shoes or something, right? Or your clothes or something. And her voice gets caught in the throat as her eyes widen in horror as I pull out my meat scepter. Oh man. She looks like she's about to scream. Like lightning, you pull her into the room, clamp her hand tight over her mouth. It appears your wealthy merchant act has attracted half the town to grovel at your doorstep. Never mind. You can drain them one by one, laughed Thanatos. The smell of her fear and the scent of her young blood is intoxicating. You know that you could draw much strength from this one. On the other hand, perhaps the best way, it would be best to charm her and send her on her way. What do? Feed on her. Life increases 10, morale increases 4. Nasa join you as you feed. The taste of her blood is so good that you cannot stop. Before you know it, she's drained dry. Okay. And life decreases 100. Great. Right, of course. That's what happens. Of course, that was what was supposed to happen, obviously. I guess we will use charm on her. Just spend more mana with some kissing in the air and a wave of hand. The teary eyes expression of tears melt away. Father, she chokes. You smile at her. Where have you been? Mother told me you left us for the riches of Ring City. And who is this woman? She has looking at Narissa. The sunrise approaching fast. You do not have time to Time to catch up with your pseudo. Take this. You press a gold piece in her hand. This is for you. I am so very tired and need to sleep now. Tell no one that you saw me. I cannot be disturbed. Fool, I must remind you how your own spells work. She will not remember your words when your charm wears off and just enters. If she talks, no one will believe a little girl, you assure yourself. With some more kind words, you gently push her out the door. As soon as she leaves, there is a knock on the door. Who is it? You rasp through the door. Your bath, sir, comes a woman's voice. Bah! The woman you told to draw your bath. Narissa whispers. Your illusions has ended. What shall she say when she sees the two of us now? Narissa whispers. I approve. She's a lovely young thing. Perhaps her soul can sustain us through the coming days, says Santos. I can charm her, you say, as a charm and a snack, nothing more. Your charm fogged the memory. Your charms fog the memory. Even still, to leave her alive as we slumber is a risk we cannot take, says Narissa. Although there is a greed glint in her eyes. Yes, drain her, Thantos urges. Not open the door, send her away. Tell her we changed our minds about the bad, Narissa says. Damn it. You know what? I'm gonna boost my stats actually. What the fuck? What the fuck did he say? Fuck it. I'm gonna increase my life a little bit. Oh boy, what do I do? I really want to drain the bath girl. You dim the lamp. Put up the hood of your cloak. You then open the door. The serving girl is not very tall, so you have to stoop very low to avoid her seeing your face. You nod for her to come in, and you look up just enough to confirm she is alone. She smiles thinly and walks into the room, struggling under the weight of two steaming buckets of water. Sadly, she will catch on to your thin roofs before long. So as soon as the door shuts, you embrace her, sink your fangs into her neck. Her joins with your feet. The taste of her blood is so good that you cannot stop before you know she is dry. Again, the same thing. Same fucking thing again and again. Send her away then. Go away, we change our mind. You yell irritably through the door. The sigh and then you hear footsteps receding away. Soon the glow of the sun faintly outlines the heavy cloak covering the window. You can do a little more than collapse to the floor and roll under bed to join Narissa. Life increases 2, mana increases 6, morale decreases 2. When the night falls, you awaken spiritually drained from your ordeal in this pit. You crawl out from underneath the bed. Narissa is standing near the window, flexing her wings and gazing out. We should make haste from here. The dragon is far and we are not safe playing games in this town. I would rather not waste my power on illusions for the inn hall. I think it would be best we exit by the way of the window. Why not just walk out quickly with our cloaks drawn? Whose business is it? Besides, we are on the second story and look, the guards and the front gate are visible from this window. Narissa points to the guard hall. Do you suggest we fly about in the middle of town? No, we jump. The short drop is nothing to creatures such as us. There are few on the streets. Still, there is no exit for guiltiness by one civilized pattern, she says. I want to leave through the window because if we leave through the cloak, they're going to sound like, oh, the couple. Because I just died from that, so I'm going to leave from the window. Why did my life decrease? He just said creatures like us will have no problem. Narissa folds her wings, puts on a backpack. The window opens enough to allow you to squeeze through. You jump first. There is a shout from somewhere just for as Narissa lands. You are spotted. You whisper, halt. You are from nearby. The night watch. They must have spotted us from the guard tower. Narissa hisses. The two of you run down the alley. Fully towards the town wall. That way, you hear. Stop in the name of Lord Rhineloft. You cannot see your pursuers yet, but it sounds like they're rallying more of their numbers and closing in. Narissa, you must rise over the wall. She grimaces no doubt at the much of a thought of attracting so much attention. However, she does not argue. Off with her pack, she unfolds her wing, flexes them as you run. Philip, ready your bow. Tevens that way. Steven with me. Shouts a commanding voice. As you approach the hall, Narissa maneuvers behind you. Suddenly, you are lifted up into the air. Immediately, two of you see up on the walls. The bows are drawn, their eyes are wide in the shock. Fire, shouts one of them, and then they let out their arrows fly. One whistles past you, but the other, either by luck or extraordinary skill, sinks into the side of your chest under your armpit. Up and up you go over the wall. More arrows whiz by. Narissa is struck in the leg. She curses. Soon, however, you're too high for the bowmen to effectively target, not to mention they are likely having difficulty seeing you in the night sky. far from the street lamp of the town. Now we must make even more haste, you say over the rushing wind. The elves will surely be called upon us now. After several minutes of flying, Nysa decided to land near the main road to continue on foot. She says that it is because she does not want to be so easily spotted by the elves in the air, but you suspect it because she is tired. If we hold to the main road, we should make good time and reach the dragon's forest in 2 nights, says Narissa. I am moral for that. And then the real adventure will begin. You grin. Gods know what Sevelek will do when he sees a pair of vampires approaching the gate of his castle. An interesting question, Narissa says thoughtfully. I expect he will kill outright unless you can give him a reason to keep you. Perhaps you could plead fidelity to him. Even a dragon might have use for services of a vampire. Me, well, I expect I can at least serve as a meal for him. It is said the Savlak often store his food for later consumption. Perhaps if we can manage to wander his halls before that fateful hour, I can find the treasure hoard and the book of names will hold the Mind Stone. What is this about you being food? You interrupt her. Well, as I said before, Savlak prefers the taste of virgin. Her sentence trails off. Oh, yeah, oh, yes. That makes sense, you stammer. Now, Narissa grins her fangs at you. Was I not a cleric of Aletheia before I was turned? Aletheia expects, no, requires chastity. She lends her power only to soul devoted to her, married to her spirit. What did you expect? That I know half the men of the city? No, I did not expect you to know half of the city, but as I just presumed someone of your attributes would be pursued by many suitors. Do you mean tempted by many suitors? Yes, I've had suitors, although few were at all tempting. The Duke's Knight were the worst chivalry. Bah, it is little more than word with them. Armored thugs, is a better description. Halt, who goes there? Comes a voice out from a boulder, striding an elf with one sword on the hilt of his hand. Surprised, you and Narissa gawk at him. Your fang must be showing because his eyes widen and raises a battle horn slung on his neck and lets out an ear-splitting blast. He then turns and runs. Narissa snarls and begins charging at him. You follow. Oh, I want to die. But you know what? I'm gonna continue next time around. So this is all I'm gonna record. It's been like 47 minutes already. There's a Twitter link in the description. There's my DTube account in the description where I play hentai games. Go check that shit the fuck out. And follow me on Twitter as I said. And thank you so much for watching and bye bye.